So we're finishing up our conversation. I'm pushing my basket out. She's holding about 2 or 3 bags. And we stop at the curb because I'm about to go left. And of course, she's about to go right. And I hear this loud honking noise. Like I'm upset, angry honking noise. And I see this blue pickup truck come screeching around the corner, full speed, and slams on its brakes directly in front of us, right where we're standing at in front of the curb. I'm thinking to myself at this point, am I about to get abducted? Is this a drive-by gone bad? What the hell's going on? I look at April, she looks at me, and I can hear this voice that says, "What took so long? You know we don't have time for this. Get your ass in the car." I look at April, she says, "Hey, Lo, I gotta go. It was good catching up." And I look closer to this truck, and I can kind of see an image in the truck on the driver's side. So I get a little bit closer. It's Brad. I say, "Hey, Brad, what are you doing?" I promise you this. It'll all come full circle if you give me about 10 more minutes. My name's Lorenzo. Welcome to Handles. Everyone has a grip on life. Everybody feels like they have a handle. Afraid to share the mistakes. The stories are what connect us. They are the key. We're running out of time. So I'm not sure if I've ever told you guys this, but one of my favorite games when I was younger was the game of marbles. I don't know what it was about marbles, but I just enjoyed collecting my own marbles, putting them up against other contenders, just playing the game overall. But I never realized how much that game would have such an impact on how I connect with my support group around me. So at this point in my life, I'm feeling pretty good. I just got myself a promotion, and with the promotion comes training, as you guys all know. So my company actually got an opportunity to pass over or send me or allocate a mentor to me. And this mentor was fantastic. Her name was April. Man, this lady knew everything about everything. You know, you meet people that some of them know a little bit about everything and then some of them know a lot about a few things. She was an anomaly. Like, she knows everything about everything. Amazing. So I spent about 2 or 3 weeks with April. We did a little bit of everything. She showed me everything I needed to know in my new role, top to bottom. Enjoyed my time. Not only did I enjoy the training that I went through with April, but I also got an opportunity just to kind of build a connection with her. So we became really good friends just from the time that we spent overall growing through my onboarding and or my training session. So one of the main things I learned about April is just how family oriented she is. Like, everybody in the store loved her, for one, not only because of her knowledge and the value that she added, but just her overall personality. Great person to be around. And if you think she's a great person to be around, her family was even better. So her family was huge. It was, I think, a total of about 52 of them that lived in the town with her. And the reason why I say 52 is because she always used that number. Oh, there's 52 of us within a 10 to 15 mile radius. Yeah, whatever, April, I don't believe that. But she was telling the truth. And when I tell you these were some down-to-earth, great, amazing people, I mean, just take the shirt off their own back and give to you type of individuals. So I got a chance to meet her mom one day, got a chance to meet her father. There were a few times when some siblings came in, aunts, uncles, they would bring her different things around lunchtime, just come in to spend time with her and say hi to the entire crew. And they would even bring us things, being her peers that they were not even related to. They would bring us things, cookies, ice cream, candy. I mean, Christmas gifts, you name it. They would come in and just pass different things out. Amazing family. Just, I could tell that they were supportive, very loving, and very caring. Let me give you an example of how close this family really is. It's Thanksgiving, and I go spend the first half of the day with my family to enjoy Thanksgiving, but I know I gotta leave because I gotta work the next morning, so I head out and I head back to the house. On my way back to the house, I get a text message from April. She says, "Hey, the family would love for you to stop by just to spend a little bit of time. Please come through before you go home." I said, "Okay, no big deal." So I stop by the house, there's tons of cars out front. I get invited in and I'm meeting every single one of her family members. I mean, so many people you can't remember their names. It's just ridiculous, right? But everybody is so nice. Everybody's offering me food, all type of drinks. I mean, I'm just enjoying myself. We're talking sports, loving it. But I hear this loud roar in the back of the house. So I'm looking at some of the guys I'm sitting with at the time at the table, and they're like, hey, let me show you what's going on in the back. So we go down this hallway in the back of the house, and I see April's niece sitting on the floor. And while she's sitting on the floor, when I get a chance to go around the corner, I notice I'm hearing this pinging noise. When I look closer, they're playing marbles. Oh my gosh, my game. I loved marbles growing up. You guys already know that. So who was she playing at the time? She was playing Brad, and he's having the best time of his life as well. You can tell they're just going back and forth, cracking jokes, making fun of each other, and the family's just kind of cheering each one of them on. Well, of course, I get there just in time to see that Brad wins the game. So April's niece gets up off the floor and says, Lorenzo, do you like marbles? And I'm kind of like, yeah, I enjoy it, this, that, and the other. And she says, look, you got to play Brad. Brad is the best at marbles. He's beaten everybody in the family up to this point. Nobody can beat Brad. So I look at Brad and I say, look, man, that's a challenge. And I'm a Morgan. I don't lose. I don't lose, especially in marbles. I don't lose. So Brad and I shake hands. We get down. We start the game. To be honest with you, the game lasted maybe 5 minutes before I was on the losing end. I walked away from that event knowing two things. One, the family is unbelievably nice. And two, Brad is not to be played with when it comes to marbles. Now let's get back to the story. So one day, April's parents come in, but they have someone with them that I've never met before. So April's mom introduces me to this guy and says, hey, this is April's new boyfriend, Brad. And so, of course, we exchanged pleasantries. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, as cool as me and April, she never told me she had a boyfriend. This is cool. So I'm getting to know him. We're making little jokes, side jokes about April, whatnot. And then April walks up and I excuse myself. Of course, later on, I get back with April and I'm like, hey, sis, you never told me about Brad. Tell me about this guy. How old is this going on? Is this a newer relationship? Let me know. So she goes on to tell me how she really enjoys the time with Brad. He fits fantastic with the family. He came around at a perfect time in her life and he is just unbelievably selfless. So that is awesome. I'm glad you guys are kicking it the way you are. Hopefully it lasts. So fast forward a few weeks later, and I haven't seen April in a while. And it's not like her to miss work. Like I told you before, hardworking, extremely sharp. This is someone that doesn't miss. So in the back of my mind, I think something's up. So I'm texting her, not getting any response. Wait a day or two, text her again, no response. So I go to my manager and I say, hey, man, have you seen April? I haven't seen April in forever. And the manager says, well, April put in her 2-week notice just a few days ago. She's gonna move on to some other ventures that she has going on in her life. I'm like, where's all these surprises coming from with April? First the boyfriend thing she never tells me about, and now she's starting some new ventures? What's going on? So what do? I text her. Heard you're leaving. You plan on telling me about it, sis? What's going on? So maybe 2 days after the manager tells me about April's 2-week notice, that was a surprise to me, of course, I get a call to the store. Now, no one ever really calls the store for me. Normally if they call me on my cell phone. But one of my peers walks up and says, hey, Lorenzo, the phone's for you. Pick up the phone. It's April's mom. And she's like, hey, Lorenzo, don't mean to bother you. I'm calling because I want to see if maybe you've seen or heard from April in a while. We have not. Now, at this point, I knew something was wrong. It's like I told you before, this is a very tight-knit family. They do everything together, i.e. Thanksgiving. I mean, they are talking, communicating, seeing each other, activities on a daily basis. This is a family that's extremely tight-knit. So for April not to reach out to her own family, that's kind of unique. Her not reaching back out to me, I get it, right? Who am I? But now my wheels start turning. So I tell April's mom, hey, look, unfortunately, I haven't heard from her. I haven't even seen her. The manager told me that she put in her 2-week notice and that she probably wouldn't be coming back. So her mom's like, well, that's a surprise to me. We didn't know that, and neither did my husband. So we're going to see if we can reach back out to her to have some conversation. So I tell her, mom, I'll make sure to look out for her, and I'll let you know if I hear anything from her. Maybe 2 or 3 days later, I decide to go get groceries. And as we've talked about before, we've always had this conversation a few times. When I say I'm getting groceries, it's very simple things. Candy, ice cream, maybe some chips or cookies. And if I'm feeling really healthy, I'll get myself some orange juice. Nevertheless, I decide to go get some groceries. Get everything I need. I go up to the line's going slow. I decide to start looking at my phone while I'm leaning on my basket. I hear someone say, "Lo, what are you doing?" So I look over, it's April. This can't be April. This lady looks like she hasn't showered in weeks. Looks like she's lost tons of weight. I mean, has weird jitters to her. Like, what is going on? April, is that you? She's like, "Yeah, Lo, you don't recognize me?" In the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, hell no, I don't recognize you. But I didn't say that out loud. So we begin to catch up. I start by saying, "Thanks a lot for returning my phone calls. Thanks a lot for telling me about the 2-week notice you put in. And by the way, your family's looking for you." So I ask her, start from the beginning. We're clearly in a long line, so this will take a while anyways. What's going on? So she goes on to tell me that her and Brad have decided that the best move for her would be to go back to school. And in doing so, she doesn't need to work anymore. And she goes on to tell me that Brad and her have decided that it's probably not best to have so many people in her life at this moment while she's making this transition, which is why she hasn't reached back out to me. So I'm confused, but I'm listening. Hey, to each its own, I get it. So we're finishing up our conversation and we're checking out about the same time in 2 separate lines, and we're walking outside. And I think you're caught up at this point. So I look closer into the truck and I'm like, "Brad, is that you?" And I hear him say, "What's up, man?" And he rolls the window down a little bit. So I get closer to his truck. I said, "Man, what the hell are you doing? You almost hit me with this damn truck, man. You must be in a rush." He said, "Yeah, I'm sorry. You know, April knows that we don't have time to play around right now. We got some spots that we have to be at, so we got to go. I didn't mean any type of disruption." And he pulls off. No goodbye, no nothing. Not even a wave. Hell, didn't even throw a cigarette at me. Nothing. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the game of marbles. Plenty of ways to play it, but let me just break it down to you. Let's say you draw a circle on the ground. We'll call that circle a circle of support. Your opponent grabs all their marbles and they put in the middle of the circle. You grab all your marbles and you put in that circle as well. Now, the goal is to knock all of your opponent's marbles out of that circle before they knock all of yours out. It's a pretty difficult task. But I start to remember exactly what April's niece told me. That Brad is really good at marbles. And damn it, she was right. You see, within those short weeks, Brad was able to seclude April from any type of family or support factor that she's ever had in her life. So I'll leave you with this, a question we all have to ask ourselves at some point in life. Is the one you're choosing to be around worth losing the ones that have always been around? Thanks for joining me on another episode of Handles. Sure hope it added value. If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and most importantly, share it with the individuals you know need to hear the message the most. If you want more handles, you can follow me on any one of my social media outlets or go directly to my website at the bottom of this page. Thanks again for your time, support, and your feedback. I'll catch you guys next time, right here on Handles.